Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and I'm delighted to have back with us again a gentleman that I have the highest regard for. Steve Forbes is with us today. He's the chairman and the chief executive officer of Forbes Media, editor-in-chief of Forbes magazine. And Mr. Forbes, what a delight to have you with us today.
Good to be with you, Perry. Thank you.
I've said often on my program here that if I was president, you'd be heading up my economic advisory board.
Thank you.
And at one time, Ben Stein was on there, but I thought I'd replace him with you.
Well, he certainly would provide a lot of colorful copy and humor.
Well, listen, I really wish you were president right now. We need somebody like you to fix this mess. Have you ever seen such a crazy, mixed-up bunch of junk in economics as what we are in right now?
Not in a long time, not since the 1970s. And what is disappointing is that the Republicans, the congressional Republicans, are fighting this battle on Democrat turf. They let the Democrats define the rules of the game, define the agenda, and then wonder why they keep getting punched up.
Well, you know, we're watching that exactly happen, and I'm thinking, well, why don't we just pick up our marbles and go home and let the thing go over the cliff? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, what the Republicans should do is go on offense, sort of a Ronald Reagan optimistic offense, pass a few bills. One bill they should pass is that you cannot use money from Medicare to finance Obamacare. I'd love to see the Senate try to dance around that one. How about that Social Security have real bonds in them instead of the non-marketable Treasury IOUs. So if you have a debt cliff crisis, they just sell bonds and pay the benefits. Wow. You know, the trust funds are supposed to have $2.5 trillion in assets today, surplus. The money's not there; it's already been spent. So, how about, you know, companies have $1.7 trillion of cash overseas?
Right. Because
they get double taxed on it.
Right.
Why not have what some people call a welcome home tax? You pay 7 or 8% if you bring the money home. We tried that 8 years ago and brought back hundreds of billions of dollars. So you could get to this time, $50 billion, $100 billion of extra revenue just by doing that. So why don't and then you could finance that with you could use that to finance a middle class tax cut. So why don't the Republicans get wise and put positive proposals out there and let the Democrats be the naysayers?
Well, you know, it just makes so much sense what you said, and so the question is, why not? Why aren't they doing this? Is this a struggle between the establishment and the Boehner group versus the Tea Party group? I mean, now are we going to see Boehner maybe get voted out?
I don't know if he'll get voted out. I think people will wait first to see what the deal is. That election he comes up again in early January. But I think the base of the party is very worried that we're giving all this stuff away for nothing in return.
Right.
As you know, you can promise all the future spending cuts you want, but if Congress doesn't enact them, right, they don't mean anything.
All right, Obamacare is now law, and if it's fully implemented, how's that going to impact us?
Very adversely, especially your personal health. You're going to have thousands of doctors are already calling it a day, so you're going to have real shortages of physicians in the future. Costs are going to go up. It's like anything. When the government gets involved, you get scarcity. You get rationing. You get long wait lines. And instead, the Republicans should be pushing proposals to have the patient in charge. And how about this tax on medical devices? These are things that improve our quality of life, help get us over various ailments, and the Democrats want to tax that and drive it overseas. This is nuts.
Mr. Forbes, do you think the cliff is avoidable? I mean, here we are, 10 days out, maybe less than that now. Is it avoidable, or is this whole thing, is it a slope, is it a cliff?
Well, the sight you're seeing now is John Boehner trying to capitulate, and the Democrats won't accept his surrender. It's bizarre. They may be saving us by overplaying their hand. One of the things the Republicans should do is pass a bill saying we're going to put all of this off the table for 6 months. You're not going to reform the tax code. You're not going to reform entitlements. You're not going to reform the budget between now and Christmas. So let's stop pretending and put it off and then do it in a more deliberate way. And I think what you're going to see early next year is the economy is not nearly as good as the Democrats want us to believe or wanted us to believe up until the election. Europe is in recession. Japan is in recession. So what do we do in all of those countries, by the way, Perry, put on extra taxes on job creators, capital creators, and we can see how well that worked there. So why are we applying the same poison to our economy?
I don't know. It's just mind-boggling to me that we're playing politics the way we are with this whole mess. Steve, do you think we can get out of debt? I mean, is this recoverable, or we're going to have to go through some catastrophic event in order for us to wake up?
We should be able easily to avoid a catastrophic event. We had some very rough times in the 1970s and early 1980s. Reagan puts in some sensible reforms. We stopped the Fed from trashing the dollar, playing with the dollar, and the economy came roaring back. You feel the energy in this country. People want to get moving, and this is not the new normal. This is the new abnormal. So have the Fed stop playing around with the dollar, have a little bit of spending restraint would go a long ways, and get some serious reform of the tax code, simplification, something like the flat tax.
Yeah, well, I was going to ask you about that. I know you've been a strong advocate of that, and you think that will ever see the light of day as much sense as it makes?
Well, 25 countries have done it, and we should realize in our country this code is beyond redemption. You know, it's been amended or changed 14,000 times in the last 25 years. Nobody knows what's in it. So Republicans should be pushing junk the thing, replace it with a simple flat tax, exemptions for adults and for kids, and that's it. And give people a choice, by the way. People who get hung up on deductions say you can go to this new simple system, or if you have low self-esteem, you can stay with the old system.
Yeah. How hard will this recession be?
It's you know, they'll find another name for it, a stall or something.
Yeah.
But it's hurtful because right now what they've done is they've created a hard environment for small and medium-sized businesses to get credit. You're crushing people with all these new regulations coming on. Nobody knows what the rules of the game are. So it's bad stuff. So we're going to do better than the rest of the world, but that's like saying a 250 ball player is better than a ball player that hits 100.
Yeah.
It ain't going to get you to the World Series.
That's for sure. What's your thoughts on the Federal Reserve and some of its policies?
Well, you'd think after 100 years the Federal Reserve would have learned something about central banking, but whatever they once knew, they've completely forgotten. The Fed should have one key role, and that is preserving the integrity and the stability value of the U.S. dollar, period, and then deal with occasional panics. That's it. And the rest of it, they should be out of the business. So these calls for auditing the Fed, that's just the beginning. We got to get to the Fed doing what it was originally created to do, and which certainly has not been doing, and that is a stable dollar. You know, you have 60 minutes in an hour. Imagine if the Fed was in charge of clocks. You know, you'd have 60 minutes an hour one day, 72 the next, 28 the next. Be chaotic.
Yeah.
So, back to basics.
Oh, that's great.
And by the way, let's be blunt about it. Basics mean tying the dollar again to gold.
Yeah.
We did it for 180 years, and it worked.
Amen to that one. A couple quick questions. I'll let you know. I know you're on a tight schedule. It appears now we're just not going to get a deal. And if we go over the cliff, what does happen to us?
What will happen is you'll see another flurry of negotiations at the beginning of the year, and as it becomes clear the economy is losing steam, the White House will blame the Republicans and try to get the Republicans to go along with a big tax increase. So you're going to see more of this crazy, destructive soap opera after the turn of the year, which will make you go back to the champagne.
Yeah.
Drown out your sorrows.
What about if the president wins on this across the board, and it appears now, as you said, that the Republicans are capitulating, which is so sad to see. I mean, this empowers this guy to just finish this off.
Well, we know what's going to happen. You're going to get bigger and more intrusive government, slower economy, less ability for small companies to become big companies, less ability for startups to get the capital they need to get started up and to expand. And that's going to mean that's going to hurt our standard of living.
Wow.
You know, big government does not go with a vibrant standard of living.
Have you offered your consulting services to the speaker?
I sent him my writings, and I've sent him my books, and I sent him the magazine for free. But so far, it doesn't seem to have taken. So,
would you mind
maybe over Christmas I'll offer my tutorial services.
Well, I would hope he'd call you and have you come in for at least lunch, and guys to sit down and share with him just a few moments you've given to me right here. Well, could we make you president for a couple of days?
Well, it would be hard to do with the Constitution, so I think both of us are going to be doing what we're doing. That is agitating.
Okay. Mr. Forbes, thank you. God bless you, my friend. Merry Christmas to you and yours, and thank you for your service and your mind, and thank you for giving us a few moments today.
Thank you, Perry, and enjoy the Christmas and the holidays.
Yeah,
Thank
you. God bless. Bye-bye. All right, we'll be right back.